Minecraft is about to have a new major update, 1.19, the Wild update. Didn't we just have one? This will include new blocks, new mobs, and even some structures. But I thought it would be nice to recap everything that's been put out in the snapshot so far. Starting off with... First, let's go over blocks. We have the new wood type, the mangrove. This is basically just like a new wood type, nothing really too interesting. It has all the different variants of wood. It does give us roots though, which is not something we've had, along with muddy mangrove roots. They also made this nice little house and lamppost. The lamppost was made using a frog light, which is something I'll explain how to get later. I also found that this could be used to make a cool blood stain on a wooden floor. The other block that's been new is the mud block. This is probably going to be generating something like clay. It's nothing really too special other than giving you a bit of slowness when you walk on it. Other than that, you can mix it with wheat to turn it into packed mud and then use that to make all these different types of mud bricks, which are pretty cool. And now your dreams of making a mud castle can finally come true. Next we have the sculk blocks. These consist of the sculk sensor, which activates whenever you make a noise around it. And the cool thing about it is that it actually activates a redstone signal, so if we place like a redstone lamp next to it, it actually makes a light. This makes an endless noise machine if you want. And because it activates whenever you make a noise, it can also be used for some pretty deadly traps. And the Sculk Catalyst is a block that will expand its Sculk vein whenever a mob dies near it, as you can see. Next we have mobs. The first is a frog. The frog spawns naturally in swamp biomes and will eat baby slimes. It will also eat baby magma cubes, and when they do, it drops the frog lights, like I mentioned earlier. They will also occasionally stick to the ceiling of mangrove trees. Next we have the mangrove sheep, a sheep that can be named mangrove to turn it into the mangrove sheep. Every now and again it'll spawn a mangrove block, which is this little block that kind of walks around with an iron sword and kills you. And the other mob that we have is the Warden, a mob that can be spawned by placing a shulk sensor next to a sculk shrieker. And if you just make some noise around it, then here it is. Here's the Warden, a nice big friendly mob that will actually regenerate some health that you lose. So he's a very friendly guy, he's very nice, and yeah, so if I were to take some damage, like falling off this tree, then he'll actually come and regenerate the damage for me. Very nice guy. And the best thing about him is that when you punch him, he actually gives you diamonds, which is even cooler. So the Wardens are now probably the best diamond farm ever. And the last but not least is the Deep Dark, a new biome that can spawn underground and consists of all the sculk blocks. And the cool thing about it is that if you mine an ore in this biome, it'll actually damage you, which is quite cool. So that was my recap of the Wild update. This update's going to be epic. I can't wait to battle the mangrove sheep, to befriend the Warden, and to mess with my friends by blowing them up. What are you most excited for?